Hi everyone, welcome back to Tula Talks. That is me. Today is Saturday, which means we are back just in time for our Saturday Haunting Hour case. This is quite a short case. I kind of just came across this. I was looking up hauntings and this kind of came up. I couldn't find a lot of information about it because the names used are actually pseudonyms. They are not the family's correct name. But what they went through was quite it's like something out of the Conjuring universe. I know those are based on true events, but it's kind of like something out of that. So we are going to talk about, they're known as the Berini family, but that is not their real name. I couldn't find out like the street where their house was or anything like that. I did find out a little bit about the house, but not too much. So like I said, it is going to be a short one today. So, Joe Berini had moved to like an ancestral family home with his new wife Rose and her two sons from a previous marriage, and they all moved into this family home in New England. Between 1979 and 1981, there was like originally quite a peaceful haunting in the home. However, this kind of escalated to very violent poltergeist activity. Rose was the first to ever have an encounter with this entity, and it called itself Serena. And this was around the time of May 1979. She was never seen, but she was heard. During one encounter, Serena could be heard saying, "Mama, Mama, it's Serena." And I think it was quite a young child. The family at this point didn't know anyone called Serena, and over time and after sort of many encounters, the whole family began to see a pattern. And that was that Serena would appear, they would hear Serena whenever a tragedy or something was about to befall the family. So one instance, Serena had, I guess, spoke to Rose's daughter, one of Rose's sons, sorry, and he then had to go to a hospital to have his tonsils removed. However, due to complications, he did nearly die. Serena then appeared again before the stroke and eventual death of Joe's granddad. So this was kind of the pattern. One night, Joe woke to Serena finding... so he heard Serena, he woke up, and he looked over and he found Rose choking, and Joe shook his wife awake, and Rose states that she was having a nightmare about her previous husband, about her husband choking her, and that was allegedly the last encounter that they had with Serena. There was no more activity between December 1979 and February of 1981. However, March 1981, there was a new entity that was seen by Rose. So again, it always seems to be Rose that's seeing these entities. It appeared to be a very young boy dressed in white, and he would be seen to walk along the hallway. The boy was seen on and off that same day for around 2 hours, and Rose had said that she actually felt a peaceful and calm sort of feeling whenever she would see the young boy. Joe also saw this young boy, and he watched as the boy moved from room to room, and it was as if he was looking for someone. He then finally settled in one spot in the hall before disappearing. Joe actually then decided to pull up the floorboards to see if he could see what the boy was looking for. He found a Virgin Mary medallion, and this appeared very, very old. The last time the boy did appear to the family, he appeared very distressed and said, "My oldest brother is the only one that can help me now," end quote. Soon after, the family was then said to be plagued by poltergeist activity, and this was when objects would move around the home. And then this rapidly escalated into a full-blown attack, specifically on Rose. Doors would open and slam shut, objects were ripped from the shelves and from Rose's hands, and actually on one occasion a fridge door swung open, hitting her on the head. Rose and Joe then decided to talk to their local priest, and he agreed to come and bless the house, and then after that everything was normal for a little bit, but not very long. In June of 1981, a new entity appeared and Rose described it as something straight from hell. This entity was seen by all family members and appeared to them as an old hunchback man wearing a black cape. He was described as having large feet and a gruff voice, and the family said he was absolutely terrifying. Actually, at one point, I heard him say, "I am a minister of God." It was this entity that had actually caused the previous poltergeist activity before it then escalated. And like I said, Rose unfortunately was the main focus. She was hit by various objects that flew off the shelves. One attack actually happened a few nights later, and this was shortly after her husband Joe left for work. So Rose was originally sleeping and she woke up to a bang. At this point, the bed was bouncing off the floor and she heard the entity screaming just curse words and obscenities. At this point, she did come off the bed. She attempted to escape the room. However, the door slammed shut and wouldn't open before she could even get to it. She did manage to call Joe, and he, at this point, raced home. He went in the house and went straight to the bedroom. And it is said that when he arrived in the bedroom, the bed was floating mid-air, roughly about 2 feet. He found Rose crouched in a corner praying with her rosary beads, and the family left shortly after they found a knife that was buried into the kitchen table. While the family was gone for about a month, they did have an exorcism performed on the home, and no further activity was ever reported. The haunting before the exorcisms was never reported to any paranormal investigators, so after the exorcism taking place, investigators did go and investigate the home. However, no paranormal activity happened because obviously the house had been exorcised at that point. However, they did have a lot of witness statements that provided them with some sort of proof. The Berini family, their names are still unknown. We don't know their real names. I don't even know if they moved out the house after this haunting. I'm not sure if they're still there because their real names aren't known, so I can't really look up that information. I did find out a little bit of history though. I found out that when this was happening to the family, Joe had obviously said to his family about the name Serena and the little boy. And it was actually found out that Joe's dad, Carlos, had 2 younger siblings who had unfortunately died in the home. Serena was aged 5 and Giorgio was aged 8. So they were very young when they died. And so it's believed that the little boy who said that only his older brother could help him was maybe talking about Carlos. But again, I don't know their family history. I don't know the house history. That is all I could get on the information of the house. I'm not sure where the darker entity came from. That might have been demonic, considering the house did have to get exorcised, and usually when something is exorcised, it is demonic. So that was just like a very small case today, but if you do have any other paranormal cases you would like me to look into, just comment in the comment section. I'll be happy